All right, so today's lesson, we're going to solve consecutive odd and even integer problems. So this is a little bit different from yesterday because we're dealing with odd and even numbers, not just straight consecutive numbers. So what are some even numbers? Etc., right? Okay. And how about some, so we got 2, 4, 6, 10, 12. All right, what's some odd ones? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc., right? Okay, now, if we look at the distance between the first one and the second one, how far apart are 2 and 4? You added 2 to get there, right? What about going from 1 to 3? What did you add?
2.
You actually also added 2. If I go from 2 to 6, what do I have to add?
2, 4.
I have to add 4. If I go from 1 to 5, what do I have to add? 4. Are you guys seeing a pattern? What's it going to be when I go to 10?
8.
Wait, did I skip a number? I forgot 8. Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's supposed to be 8 next.
That's silly.
Silly me. Okay. All right, so yes, that would be plus 6. And when I go from 1 to 7, it's plus 6. So does it matter if I'm dealing with odd or even numbers? No, it doesn't matter if it's odd or even. What matters is that they are always 2 numbers apart. Okay, now this is going to mess with your mind some, because when you go to set up the expressions, when it's odd, you are going to do n plus 1, n plus 3, n plus 5. You are going to be really tempted to do that. Don't do it. Just imagine that the word was actually even, okay? It's always going to be n plus 2, n plus 4, n plus 6, n plus 8, and so on. It doesn't matter if it's odd or even. The numbers are always 2 apart. Okay, so my first example, I have, and this is a continuation of yesterday, so that's why we're starting with 4. The sum of 3 consecutive even integers. So I have 3 of them, and they are even, and they're going to add up to negative 36. So if my first number is n, the next even number will be n plus 2. And the next even number after that would be n plus 4. So it's very similar to what we did yesterday. It's just when they're even, we're not just counting up 1, 2, 3. We're counting up 2, 4, 6, and so on. All right, so the sum, again, means I'm adding them together. So I have 3n plus 6. So 3n plus 6 would have to equal negative 36. I subtract the 6 from both sides. Again, be careful with your negatives. I get 3n is equal to negative 42, and then I divide by 3. So n would equal negative 14. So when I go back over to my original expressions and plug them in, I get negative 14. What's negative 14 plus 2? Negative 12. Be careful. With negative numbers, it's like you're going backwards. Okay, and then I get negative 10. So the 3 consecutive integers that add up to negative 36 would be negative 14, negative 12, and negative 10. All right, so any questions on what I did there? All right, so this time I want to have you guys try one with 4 consecutive even integers. So before you solve the whole thing, show me the equation you're going to solve before you do all the work, just to make sure you've got it set up right. So it looks like most of you were able to set it up. You have n plus 2, n plus 4, and n plus 6, so that adds up to 4n plus 12. You make that equal to 100 and solve that. Okay, so remember we had n plus 2, n plus 4, and n plus 6. That added up to 4n plus 12. When you subtracted 12, you got that 4n was equal to 88, and so n was equal to 22. So when you plug it back in, you got 22, 24, 26, and 28. All right, now I've got the sum of 3 consecutive odd integers is 147. This is for your notes. Does it matter if it's odd? No. Odd or even, they're always how many numbers apart? 2. So I'm still going to use n plus 2, and n plus 4. Okay, this time there's only 3, so I'm just going to have 3 expressions. So that, like I said, this is kind of mess with your brain a little bit, but just always do it the same as you do your evens and you'll be okay. All right, so when I add those together, I get 3n plus 6, and that has to equal 147. I subtract 6 from both sides, and I get that 3n is equal to 141. And then I divide by 3. And I get that n is equal to, goes into 14, 4 times 47. Okay, so that means my numbers are 47, 49, and 51. Okay, so be careful when you go back to write your answer that you remember it's not just 47, 48, 49. It's 47, 49, 51. Okay, consecutive odds. All right, let's have you guys give this one a try on your whiteboards. I have 3 consecutive odd integers and their sum is 99. Find the integers. Okay, it looks like most of you are getting it. When you subtract 6, you got that 3n was 93. And so you end up with n equaling 31. So it's 31, 33, and 35. Did you figure out where you went wrong? Okay, good. All right, one more before we run out of time here. All right, so the larger of 2 consecutive odd integers, so now I only have 2, right? Is 7 greater than twice the smaller. So first I'm going to kind of take those words and make them into an equation with words. Larger is, so that's my equal sign. 7 greater means I'm doing what with the 7? I'm adding it to 2 times the smaller. Okay, so this one just has 2. We've got n and n plus 2. So my larger is n plus 2 equals 7 plus 2 times my smaller, which is n. All right, so then we would subtract n from both sides. And we'll subtract the 7 from both sides. And we're left with n equaling -5. And so my numbers are -5. I add 2 to that, it's -3. Thank you.